Hello guys, welcome to my channel. It is 3:39 my time in the morning, September the, is today 12th, 13th, 13th, yeah. I haven't went to bed yet, but I'm going to do this little video because one of my friends sent me a thing and told me to do a reaction to it. And I hadn't heard nothing about the Netflix cancellation movement or whatever. So I done a little research, found out that it was over the Cuties movie, so I watched the movie. I skimmed through a little bit. My nose is running. I skimmed through it a little bit, and I found this thing on YouTube to see if he can answer it a little better. I didn't. We probably won't go all the way through it to make this video kind of short, but I can see during the video that this was a bad video. Bad movie, very bad. They could have took a lot of the sexy dancing out because these are 11-year-old kids. But kids play in other movies too. And there's probably worser movies. There's probably things out there that these kids have done in movies that's really not. It really equals out to about the same, except there's just a lot more of it in this movie. Dance Moms, for instance. I haven't seen really the stuff that was in this movie kind of dancing, but these girls are a lot younger in Dance Moms. So let's see what he has to say, because I know it's going to bring a lot of pedophiles, and there's going to be a lot of trafficking happens, and for things like this, it just makes a lot of these people that their minds ain't right to go after it. It happens here anyway. We just don't hear as much about it or see it as much as in a different culture or different part of the world. Their things are way different. So this stuff actually does happen. America just wasn't ready to see this actually be thrown into their face. I'm not saying that the movie was good. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm not taking up for the movie. I just understand kind of what they're trying to do with the movie. Let me see what the comments was on this part first. Scroll down here real quick before we start. I want to see what some people were saying. Okay, went a little too far. And I agree with her. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's not normal. It's bad all the way around, whether there's a movie or not a movie. I get the director's intention, but exploiting young girls to make a point about how exploiting young girls is wrong doesn't sit well with me at all. Now take this a step further and ask yourself if this kind of girls women want to play a role with. Okay. Okay, I get it that they could have took a different way on trying to get their point across, but at the same time, that would be sugarcoating a situation that is happening. That would be not really telling the truth or letting people see what is actually really happening. It's the same as like when you get into what should I say, like Fox News, CNN, this and that. They don't want you to see what is actually really happening. And a lot of the stuff, Fox News isn't as bad as CNN, I don't think, but still, any of them's pretty much covering over what's really happening. Like when we was in the war over in Iraq, they didn't want you to see how bad it really was. It was horrible. I had people I know that was over there. It was horrible. The stuff that America got to see the cake side of it. They didn't get to see the rotten cake that was in the back of the oven or whatever. They didn't get to see that part. And so they made it look good to us. But let's see what he's got to say so I can shorten this video and not make it as long.
I woke up this morning to see hashtag cancel Netflix trending on Twitter and decided to see what this was all about. Unsurprisingly, the film Cuties is once again bringing the top streaming service a ton of backlash. If there's anything that will bring the left and the right together, it's the topic of child predators. But the story around Cuties and hashtag cancel Netflix is much more nuanced, and it really sheds a light on the veil many of us willfully pull over our eyes on a daily basis. If you're wondering what people are saying about Cuties on Twitter, look no further than right-wing loudmouths like Ben, Racism Doesn't Exist Shapiro, ex-Infowars B-Team member Paul Joseph Watson, and conservative convert Tim Pool. It's no secret that we live in a world of headline readers, and it's really interesting to me how many movies, TV shows, books, and other forms of entertainment receive backlash before anyone has even witnessed them. From the outside, it's easy to intuitively believe that this movie is abhorrent and that people should boycott Netflix for allowing it on their platform. But what is this movie actually about? Recently, NPR wrote an article about the controversy, and it included quotes from the creator. The French film Cuties is being praised for its critique of the hypersexualization of young girls and the consequences of that as they rush to become adults in the age of social media. It began several years ago when filmmaker, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this name, Mamouna Diakhouré was at a neighborhood gathering and her jaw dropped. A group of young girls in revealing outfits came out on a stage and performed a choreographed routine. Diakhouré says that they couldn't have been more than 11 years old, and they were dancing very sexually, and I was very disturbed about what I was seeing. But instead of passing judgment, the self-taught writer and filmmaker says she wanted to understand what she was seeing. She dove into research, interviewing more than 100 adolescent girls over the course of a year and a half. It's a period that's very specific, Diakhouré says, where you are not any more totally a child and you are not an adult. You are looking for yourself and everything is changing very fast. So
that I agree with. I understand it shows what these kids go through, and from what I've seen and part of the movie that I actually watched, it shows what these girls go through. And as you go into start going into your teenagers years, you start trying to find yourself as you're going. You start running with the quicks, they persuade you into doing things, so it's not all that you're just easily influenced. But in a different culture, things are different, as they would be here. You know, it's the habits that culture could have that it's really, I don't know how to really explain it. He just pretty much explained it the best way that could be, I guess. But it's like I think, and you'll probably hear me say it throughout the video, that you see cheerleaders out here dancing like this, half naked. You see, like I said, on those dance moms that they're half naked. But we don't think about the moves that cheerleaders do, or in the movies, like Bring It On. There's certain parts in that we turn an eye to. We just watch it and go on. But when there's 11-year-old and these are teenagers that are doing this, what's it really any different in the age? They're still underage, and it's still underage. And in certain areas, the ages could be different. You might not have to be 18 to be an adult. You could be the age of 10 and be an adult. I don't know, because I don't know unless I actually deeply researched it. But you've got to think outside of the box when it comes to this movie. And I'm just rambling because I'm half asleep, so.
So, on the surface, this movie looks like the twisted fantasy of some sort of child predator, but it's more of a commentary on the massive issue we face today in the age of social media. For example, look at the young creators like Danielle Cohn, who has been sexualized since she was 12, Or just flip through TikTok for 5 minutes and you'll see kids trying to become the next rich and famous influencer.
And that's true. They have social media now. I keep falling behind that. They have social media now that where everything goes. You know, people's out here trying to be the next big thing, just like he said. But people, and that's the next thing too, that parents don't keep up with what their kids are doing. They just don't keep up with it. They might not even know how to turn on a computer, so they don't know what their kids are out here doing.
Influencer. I don't think people necessarily have a problem with the film. I believe they have a problem with the reality that we're refusing to face as a culture.
And he said it right there. The film is bad. I get that. The film is bad. But then again, it's reality of what actually happens in different areas. It happens here in certain places. We just don't see it. We don't hear about it. You just don't. And you could probably, if you lived, because this was, what was it, a French movie, I think is what he said, or something. And over there, you could probably turn on the news and hear it. Or it's just so normal that you don't hear about it over there. I can't, well, my thing looks funny. I'm not taken up for the movie. But I'm not going to put it down that, I'm not going to really put it down either, because I understand where they are coming from. And I will say it again, it is a bad movie. It shows what happens, or what can happen, or what is happening, and more than likely it is happening. And this person that directed it has witnessed this happening and was wanting to tell the story. So therefore, you got to think about other people's lives too, of what they have seen, and they're bringing it out. And it could have been hard on them to do this, to tell the story of what actually happens. I'm not going to go any further into this. I'm going to stop it right there, because I don't think it gets on there with teen moms. And like, I know a little bit, or dance moms, I know a little bit more about dance moms, because I used to actually watch it. So, and I know they've had like 8 or 9 seasons. 7, 8 or 9, like 8 or 9. I know that they've had a lot of seasons, and it's been a really good show. But that's what I'm saying. People can sit and watch Teen Moms. Let's see what he has to say on this. We'll go listen to him. People can watch Teen Moms, and it's okay.
And that reality is that for years, everybody, thanks for watching this quick video essay. I actually just posted this up on Medium too. I had to talk about it, and I'm not saying anything new. Like, when this first started bubbling up, I saw a lot of people saying these things. They were saying that, like, this woman who created this movie, she was shining a light on what's actually going on. But right now, there's this huge movement, you know, where it's easy to call all these things for, like, being a child predator and all this other stuff. But here at The Rewired Soul, remember, we critically think. We don't just look at the surface, okay? We dig deeper. We try to take things a little bit further and really think about them and look at the broader picture. Like I said, this is something that's going on a daily basis. Like,
that's what I said. It is something that goes on. We just don't see it. We turn an eye to it. Or we don't hear about it, like, because you get in a poorer part of the country or in the area or wherever, this stuff happens. But you just don't hear about it. It's like with the cover of it, you seen the one from over, or they had 2 different covers for the video, or for the movie, and the one over, like in France, wasn't, or French, or wherever, I don't even remember, that made it look different than the American version. But the American version had to change it or something from the way that it was to make it not look as bad, because America's once again soft. They can't think outside the box, so they're getting a backlash Netflix is getting a backlash, but Netflix pretty much just, I think they just, they're like the platform. I don't think they're actually, they just do the movies on that. I think it's like a platform. I'm not for sure how Netflix and that works because I don't do that much research, and I've really got to make time to do that. So it,
in reality, but we're wasting valuable time by freaking out over a fictional movie that is depicting real life. You would think that this movie would be a call to arms for people to start looking into these industries and doing something about it, and doing something about these parents who are letting this happen to their children.
that I agree with. Like, I mean, it shows what actually goes on behind what your kids are out doing when you're not paying attention. Or like I said, you know, you all might, some of these people can't even turn on a computer, doesn't even deal with social media, or doesn't even see what's going on, especially in lower income areas, or people that's just older and hasn't kept up with the technology like the kids have.
You know, but one of the biggest issues that I see today is that when we jump into these outrage cycles, we neglect the real problems that are actually going on. All right, but anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. And a huge thanks to everybody who supports the channel over on Patreon or gets my books from the rewrite.
Anyway, I'll stop it right there. But I don't know this, but I'm gonna give him a thumbs up anyway. Because I agree with what he said. He brought a more of a true side to what a lot of other people are trying to downplay, I should say, because they can't handle the fact of the reality of what's actually going on. But until then, I'm going to get off here. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. And I'm going to bed. So, I ain't restarting. Have a good weekend.